Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever it is when you're watching this. It's our afternoon here, but we are the Investing Bros, and we have our live show. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Georgia for me, Florida for Mr. T. Shroom. But we're going to be talking about a lot today. Cardano, though, is going to be our main focus here because Cardano's price is starting to head back down towards a critical level of support. The question is, do we bounce on that support? Do we lose it? Do we go further? I know I've given that kind of hint away in the past, but we're going to dive deeper, looking at the charts. We got a couple of stories, I think, surrounding Bitcoin. Right now, it's not necessarily the craziest news cycle, but of course, anytime you want to catch a lot of news, make sure you guys are checking out our morning news update. These afternoon shows are going to be pretty reserved now for charts, breaking news, and then some good Q&A with you fine people. So if you're excited about that, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe if this is your first time here. T. Shroom, I always introduce you and I never tell people who I am. My name's Tim, by the way, guys. It's Tim. We always say T. Shroom, and I realized I'm leaving myself out every single episode. People have no idea who I am.
Yeah. Well, It does say it on the screen, which is nice.
People don't read, T-Shroom. I don't know if you've caught up to this at this point. People do not read. It's one of our many defects of our kind, our human race.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in chat if you know how to read. I'm not going to see any ones. I'm not going to see any. No, just kidding. You guys are smart people. I love all of you. Thank you for pointing out that my name does show up. But to be fair, they might think my name is Tim's, not Tim. Because yours says T-Shroom, at T-Shroom. Unfortunately, Tim was already taken on Twitter when I set up my account, and didn't get it. You know,
you're really opening up here in this intro. Is there anything you need to get off your chest?
Well, it's a live show, and I just thought, we're gonna have some fun today because guess what? Okay. It's a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
And guess what? Gia S does love to read. And when I said, I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I said what I just said here a couple seconds ago, and I said that our chat doesn't know how to read, I literally for a second was like, well, Gia probably knows how to read. But the rest of us, no, we don't know how to read. And it's reflecting for sure in the rest of chat.
When you learn how to read charts, reading words just becomes old news.
It's pointless. There's really no purpose anymore.
Words can lie to you. Charts can't.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of not being able to read, are we about to read a quote of the day?
The risk of a wrong decision is preferable to the terror of indecision. Ladies and gentlemen, we're kicking it back yet again, 2 days in a row of Maimonides. Maimonides, of course, being a Hebrew scholar from, I don't remember. I think it was 11 AD, not 11. It would have been anyway, a while ago. I'm sorry, I'm totally butchering this. But yesterday we went more into depth on Maimonides. He was seen as a figure who kind of bridged a lot of Greek philosophy with Hebrew philosophy and Torah studies.
Yeah.
So for obvious reasons, we're trying to bridge the gap here between the Greeks and the Hebrews, as we have for so long.
I absolutely love this. I love this quote. I love this quote, T-shirt. Actually, on a very serious note, because a lot of people when you struggle with indecision, you probably have a fear of failure. You have a fear of not doing something correctly, and so your solution is to not do anything at all. Well, first of all, like everything else in life, if you're not moving forward, you are moving backwards. So not making decisions, not making movements, you're falling back anyway. But even more so, if you have indecision and you're fearful of failing, sometimes the best lessons in life come through failure. I know for me personally, and luckily this has not made it into my crypto investing world. I've talked about that before. I've never had a massive loss in trading or my portfolio. I've never been hacked. But in other things in life, I absolutely have embraced failure hard at times. But it's the best lesson that you could get. To me, sometimes failing at something is better than being successful at first. Sometimes when you get success too early, too fast, you get a little cocky, you get a little arrogant, you don't realize there even is a capability of failing at it. And then when you do fail, you fall flat hard on your face. Sometimes failing and learning how to do things the wrong way helps you learn how to do things right way. That's a Thomas Edison quote, right? I didn't fail at making a light bulb 99 times. I just, what was it?
99 times I found the wrong way to create it or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't know. Again, I don't read, so that's why I didn't get that quote done very well.
They get you, man. All those books. All those books.
Well, speaking of reading, Henry Purse is in here. Shout out to Henry. He said, T-Shroom, I poured my heart into my vows, and then when it came time to give them at my wedding, I shortened them. I regret doing that now, so go all out. You guys, of course, know this is a marriage channel that happens to talk about crypto from time to time.
Yeah.
And sometimes we go a little too much into crypto. It is one of our many faults. But T-Shroom, what do you think about that? Have you and Henry been talking?
I can't say that we have. The thing about vowels are, I know all my vowels already. I got them memorized. A, E, I, O, U. So
vowels? Okay, yeah. That's the first step to reading too. I do know when you're trying to learn how to read, you need to learn your vowels. It's one of the major roadblocks for the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have had lots of dry humor. Guys, if you're just joining us, we will be getting to the crypto here in just a moment. But just soldier through our dry, very dry, arid, desert-like humor here as we're having a lot of fun for the Inside Baseball bros.
Yes. Well, yeah, if you think it's okay, T-Shirt, we'll go ahead and get into some crypto and we'll do some charting. Yeah. We're going to kind of, as we go through these live streams from here on out, just so you guys understand and know like what to expect when you come in. The first half hour is, roughly planned. We're going to be doing some charts, some stories based off of the coins that we choose to do TA. The second half hour is going to be pretty much all Q&A. So if you guys have coin requests you want to see TA on, if you have topics in the news that you want to discuss, T-Shim and I are actually, we do a lot of research throughout the day, so we're aware of a lot of topics. If you don't hear us talk about something that you think is important, there's a chance we haven't heard of it, but the chance is we probably did, and we just, if you guys want to talk more about it, we'll go into more detail. So make sure you guys are chatting throughout the show. We want to engage with you guys. Let's talk Cardano, T-Shroom. There's some charts, and if there's any news you know about Cardano you think is relevant, pipe on in, let me know.
And but before we get to the charts,
my thought was, is the elf already ready to go this early in the show? My thought was we do Cardano. And by the way, guys, this is a live show. T-Shim and I, because we work, we don't talk all day. So a lot of times, we're figuring this out on the fly just with you guys. My thought, T-Shim, and tell me if you think I'm terribly wrong for this. Okay. I thought we would do Cardano first. And then after Cardano, before we transition into Bitcoin, because everyone needs to know where Bitcoin's going. It's Papa Crypto. We'll do the quote or the question of the day before Bitcoin. Do you have a strong
No, it's all good
to that plan?
No, it's all good. Just the Factoid Elf does got to go in like 45 minutes. So as long as we can do that before then.
Does he have another job?
He's got a dental appointment. Yeah. Hey,
honestly,
even elves
didn't even know he had a mouth.
Yeah.
I'm looking at there. I just see eyeballs and a nose. I didn't think he had teeth. So, you learn new things every single day. Right. Let's talk Cardano, people. As I said in the title, Cardano is heading back down to critical support. That is this red line right here. Guys, this, with the exception of our wick back on June 9th, or let's see, is that June 9th? June 10th, has pretty much been the strong bottom signal for Cardano. We hit it, of course, back in December of 2022. This price, by the way, guys, is sitting about 24 cents. Yes, we wicked lower back on the 9th of June, but we quickly rallied back above, didn't even close a 4-hour candle below that level as we're starting to zoom in here. Yeah, we closed right at it. And then as we move over here, we technically did close 1 4-hour candle below this level back on the 11th of September. But then we kept moving on, and you can see that this is always, every time we've come back to 24 cents, been very, very strong support. In fact, historically, you even go back to previous previous cycles. This level has been important in the past as well. It's hard to see here on the daily chart, but there's some definitely support back up in there. I was doing this earlier, looking at how much of an explosive bull market we had. In case you guys are wondering, I was kind of thinking, we had a 100x in the last bull market. So let me know in chat what you guys are thinking. I would be very surprised if Cardano has another 100x in this bull market. But what to you guys, go ahead and put in chat, is a realistic percentage for Cardano to rally this next bull market? Are we just talking about a 10x? Talking about a 20x? Does it go maybe to 30, 40, 50? Let me know what you guys think Cardano can do. But let's zoom back in here and check out more of what's happening in Cardano. You guys know that we've been tracking this bullish formation called a falling wedge pattern. However, a couple of days ago, we rejected on it once again, and we're moving downward as we speak. We've crossed below the 25-cent region, which was another pretty strong psychological level for Cardano. We've lost 25 cents. We're moving to the downside here. If I were to pull up our Chart Prime oscillators, which, by the way, you guys know all of our charts are brought to you guys by Chart Prime, the best indicators out there if you're looking to trade or even just be more educated on when to buy, when to sell, because you're more of a swing trader. These indicators are phenomenal for you. If you want to scalp trade, these indicators are phenomenal for you. Either way, go check them out with a link down below. 45% off, by the way, in case you didn't know that. 45% off when you use our link. Just saying there. Not going to get that deal anywhere else. Most recent flash here on Cardano daily chart was overbought with the red reversal triangle. We are heading to the downside. You guys can see money flow right here. If I full screen it, money flow peaked out and is now heading down for the first time since all the way back here on September 16th. So that's not a good sign there for Cardano. RSI crossed below the mid-level. So while technically the Chart Prime Oscillator is still sitting above the zero, that mid-level, the fact that RSI crossed below to me implies more than likely this dip is not over on the daily chart. Even if we see a couple green candles on 4-hour and 1-hour charts, it looks like over the next week or so, Cardano wants to continue to move to the downside. We'll continue to observe that. We'll continue to watch, but more of a reason why I think we're definitely at least coming back down to the 24-cent region, which has been such strong support for us. But the problem is, as I zoom out here, I'm not convinced that's the bottom of it. You guys know I've been talking about 18 cents for Cardano here for a little minute. We've had some economic things now come in over the last week that would imply that there's fear and there's uncertainty, not only just in crypto and investing in general, but altcoins getting kind of kicked around here a little bit compared to Bitcoin. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance chart later, but Bitcoin dominance chart looks to be moving to the upside. Look at what we have going on here, guys. If we lose this red line, I'm thinking coming back down into this green wave right around this T-box, this 18-cent region. Also, timeline-wise, guys, we more than likely will see a little dip come in October, and then somewhere late in November is where we get our price bottom. Maybe we touch this blue line somewhere in that range. Again, 18 cents, maybe a little bit below, is the area I'm continuing to watch. So if you guys are still looking and holding out for some good buy spots on Cardano, I'm not going to lie. I mean, DCA strategies are great. If you're looking for good spots, 24 cents has been a great buy spot ever since December of 2022. But again, I'm looking at this. I still think sub 20-cent levels for Cardano does look like it's in play, which, by the way, guys, there's a couple ways of thinking about this. You can get very negative. You can weep and you can cry. But let's just say, for example, let's put out a prediction that's kind of on the lower range of what I'm thinking. My range is kind of sitting somewhere between $6 to $10. More realistically, probably somewhere between $7 to $9. Let's call it $7 right now for Bitcoin or for Cardano. Excuse me. Let's say we were to have bottomed out right now. The price is not going to get any lower. Give me a second, guys. Got to kind of zoom out and get even on the screen where a $7 price would be. If we were to have bottomed out right here and we get a push up to $7, this would give us a return of about a 27x. Not bad at all. 27x for Cardano could be a very, very beautiful thing. I don't know why I didn't go log chart in the first place. This makes it a lot easier. However, if you are able to grab a hold of an 18-cent Cardano, that would change from a 27x to almost, if I go, let's go right to 18 cents somewhere there, 37x.
Wow. Big difference.
Guys, that's a big difference. So to me, I'm sitting here looking at these low prices more than likely coming on these altcoins and saying, oh, what an opportunity. It's going to be that way for all of them, but especially for some of these coins more like Cardano. I think that Cardano, when you're talking about larger cap altcoins, of course, there's going to be small cap altcoins, which we will discuss on this channel from time to time, that are probably going to see 100Xs, 50Xs, maybe some of them see 200Xs, but who knows? Maybe some of them see 1,000Xs. That'd be the hardest one to predict probably because it takes a lot to get something to 1,000X, but there's coins out there that you could. But we're talking about probably more. I hate to use this phrase because I don't want to make any promises that I cannot deliver on, but sure things. Larger caps are a lot more often sure things. Cardano is one of the more opportunistic sure thing types of coins out there. So make sure you guys are continuing to watch the charts, continue to think through what's your buy spot, where are you comfortable getting in at? Because again, I think a great opportunity is coming your way via Cardano. And despite the fact that price is down right now, guys, this is still the highest developed coin right now. I know people are going to throw a lot of things at you like TVL, Pete, there's all these different letters. They want to throw letters. And remember, we can't read. So those letters don't mean anything to us. What I can tell you right now is Cardano continues to be one of the highest developed coins out there. Something that's really bullish to me. And I'm not bearish on Ethereum, but we're looking at Ethereum. If you guys have been following the Ethereum news and the things that Vitalik is coming out and saying, hey, I'm really concerned about this. We might need to redo some stuff about our staking protocols to make Ethereum more decentralized. This is the stuff that, remember when everyone said Cardano was moving too slow, that they weren't doing anything quickly, and this is the perfect example of like what it would look like in a classroom. What Cardano was doing that no other system was doing was thinking about the problems ahead of time, and before they created something bad quickly, they wanted to create the best system first. Well, now we're seeing altcoins regroup and say, oh, that Cardano team was on to something. Maybe we need to move back and rethink this to create a more decentralized system of staking that keeps security. That's one of the reasons I'm super bullish on Cardano. Watch out from them being one of the last ones, not being the fastest, to being ahead of the game when it comes to what crypto needs to look like. I want to remind you guys, before we move away from Cardano, we're going to get into Bitcoin here in just a second, get our factoid of the day. Go back to the bear market of, back in 2018 through 2019, before the 2020 rally. It's very similar to Bitcoin, but I just want to remind you guys, timeline. Again, the lows for Cardano came here March of 2020. What was that? That was COVID. Don't pay attention to that chart. We look at the dip before that. This dip coming in December, on December 18th of 2019, we had a lot. Yes, we had our pre-bull market rally, and then we had another big pullback down to pretty much the same levels of the bear market bottom. This time, I think we're going to go a little lower. But it really wasn't until December of 2019 that exciting things started to push up into Cardano. Again, COVID kind of ruined this momentum, but we started being bullish in December. We've had a very long, boring, questioning bear market for Cardano where people have said, oh, is Cardano dead? Well, guys, it's the same thing. We hit our bottom. We had our pre-bull market rally. We technically set a higher high than this high right here back in November 2022 during April of 2023. Now we're back down. This time we're going to go a little bit lower. We're going to go lower than that previous bear market bottom, in my opinion. I think we're going to set new ones. And then late November, early December range, just like Bitcoin, that's when I think things could start getting interesting once again. But you have to stay patient, continue to watch the charts, continue to think through things critically. And guess what? Patience is a virtue. Those who are patient are going to have some great rewards for that patience. That's our Cardano TA for the day. We might cover more in the future if you guys have other questions for me there. But again, still looking at that falling wedge pattern, bringing us back down here towards 18 cents. Before we move into Bitcoin T-Shroom, let's get that trivia question of the day. Let's see if he can stump me. It's been a minute. The elf is not doing well against me, and I can't even read. So
it's true.
The elf needs to step it up.
Tim, who is the second Catholic president of these United States? Is it A, John F. Kennedy, B, William Henry Harrison, C, Millard Fillmore, or D, Joe Biden?
This is a good one because I know Kennedy and Biden are both Catholics. I don't think William Henry Harrison was a Catholic. And I have no idea about Millard Fillmore. But you would think it would be interesting if Kennedy was the first Catholic, because Catholicism's been here for a minute. Here in the United States.
It has.
But I'm tempted to say Joe Biden. I'm tempted to say that Kennedy was the first Catholic.
Yes.
And I'm being told by a voice in the room that Kennedy was the first Catholic, making Joe Biden the only option on the board to be the second. So I'm going D, Joe Biden.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to give the answer away. Okay, all right. Well, we'll find out after the Bitcoin TA.
When have I ever given the answer?
You're right. No, you're doing your job, and you're doing the bidding.
I don't even know the answer. I've got to wait for the factoid to tell me.
That's true.
And he doesn't tell me unless certain things happen and that have not happened yet. So
That's very true.
You don't think Millard Fillmore has a good, sturdy Catholic sounding name to it? Just gonna.
I'm
okay.
not. No,
we'll leave it alone.
not really.
Leave it alone.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could be a Catholic and be a drunk. Wasn't Millard Fillmore an alcoholic?
I don't think any Catholic has ever been an alcoholic.
True.
And all the Catholics in the chat, let me know. You don't know any alcoholics or Catholics.
But I don't know. Maybe I always heard. There's a joke that we told as a child. By the way, guys, we're getting back into Bitcoin TA in a second. But I always heard in the South, the way you could tell the difference between the Catholics and the Baptists is the Catholics would talk to you in the liquor store.
Pretty good.
That's just me. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin, guys. We are still sitting within this symmetrical triangle that we talked about over the last couple of days. However, we have moved back down.
It's such a boomer joke. I'm sorry.
Well, I heard it from a person that was a boomer. So, yes, it's a boomer joke.
Oh, that's good.
Goodness. You're getting the tickles about 10 seconds after the joke's been told. Yeah. All right. We're going to get back to Bitcoin now. Is that okay if I get back into Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. Got some stories too, so don't
take
all freaking day with it.
Don't tempt me with a good time. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, Bitcoin back down here to support, rising level support here on lower time frames. This is not a good sign necessarily on the 4-hour chart. After getting a bullish divergence here and oversold with the green triangle on this touch, we're back down at that support level, not seeing the same flow. Now, we're kind of seeing a green histogram coming in on the MVP oscillator, so there's some hope here that people are buying at this level once again, but not liking that we're seeing that just kind of overflow on the 4-hour chart. The price has gotten lower, which this could be some bullish divergence that kind of pops up in here and gives us some support here. But I'm worried, are we going to lose this red line, come down to the blue line? Do we see some bullish divergence kind of make a play here as the prices get lower, the closes get lower on the 4-hour chart, but the oscillators are not necessarily as low? Let's take a look at what the hourly chart is saying. I'd be surprised if it's not flashing a buy because of how low we are right now. We got bullish divergence right here, but we've kept moving down. And I want to remind everybody, and I think this might be what we're seeing kind of play. Yeah, MVP oscillator not flashing by on the hourly chart. So this is interesting. It's interesting that you're seeing slivers on the 4-hour chart, but not the hourly chart. And when you start to see the prices ignore bearish calls, this is an indication of the strength that the bears have moving into the area. So while we're continuing to hold our support level, continue to watch out for a move and a breakout to the downside. Maybe the bears have control. Remember, we've had a lot of bullish opinions today, and I don't even know what the stories, T-Shum, you're going to talk about. Maybe you're going to see some more bullish opinions, but a lot of these opinions are based off of things that will happen months from now. That's not a guarantee or a lock that price will move up right now. And we're seeing the charts kind of say it's time to move to the downside. The first level support we're looking to break here is about 27,200. If we lose that, could be a decent little fall. I'm sure that 26,000 is going to hold up. Of course, if we were to go out here and look at the fixed range volume profile, we're going to see point of control kind of being right there in that region. Right about 20, almost right on the dot. $26,036 is our point of control. You guys will see right here, we have lost our value area high. Again, couple different levels of support hanging in there on the 4-hour chart, but dynamic reactor sitting here at 27.2. Okay, there's the last level of support there. And then I do think big drop to 26,000. And then we're starting to make, even though I've been saying it now for a couple of weeks, maybe you start to see more rumblings of a loss, that $25,000 level of support being lost. But Bitcoin on the shorter time frames, not necessarily looking good. We talked about it this morning, our news update daily chart, not looking good here, guys. We're sitting right on top of that daily dynamic reactor. But again, if we lose it here, 27,300, 27,200 area, we're going to have a little ways to go to the downside. Our green support band coming in lower than 25,000. Let's continue to watch to see if the bears continue to take control here. Of course, they've had the most recent flashes on the daily chart. It's going to be a long time, though, guys. Again, instead of the end of October being where we're looking for a pivot, we're now looking towards November. What does that mean? It means we have about a month and a half or more of time to be moving to the downside. This isn't going to be a straight drop on Bitcoin. This isn't going to look like this. If we're talking about potentially, I've kind of put us in range 21,500 I'm interested in, and then potentially lower than 25,000, but it's not going to look like this. It's not going to be a straight downward movement, right? It's going to look a little more like this. That was a good timeline because this is right here, November, December, but it's going to look something more like this. You don't ever move backwards. So terrible drawings, Tim. Going to drop, move back up, drop, move back up, drop, move back up, drop, move back up, right? This is what the chart is going to look like. So don't get swayed or confused just because there are days of green candles and where the 4-hour chart looks oversold, the hourly chart looks oversold. It's going to happen. The question is, are we setting lower lows and lower highs or higher highs and higher lows? I think we're on our way to break a current streak right here, a little trend of bullishness right here. I think we might be heading back towards setting those lower highs, lower lows. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Another reason to be a little bit suspicious here, guys. Again, we've been overextended on the Bitcoin dominance now for a while. Look at all of these flashes, bearish divergence, 2 different peak seekers, 2 different red reversal triangles, a massive band right here saying that we're overbought, and yet the Bitcoin dominance continues to the upside. Why? Because the bulls are in control. This is a very bullish move when you ignore bearish indicators and continue the upside. That's one of the reasons why I still think Bitcoin is going to be dropping. Just watch altcoins potentially drop even faster. It's a very classic move on the Bitcoin dominance chart. When things drop, it's really easy for crypto altcoins to outpace it and that Bitcoin dominance to make a climb. And of course, you guys know, had that bet with DZ. I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I said 60%. I'm going to hold 60%. I'm not going to try to wiggle out of my deal. I do think the 55 to 57 cent region is a little more interesting. That to me, lock is the wrong word. I'm never going to say I lock or perfectly predict or 100% because that's just not how markets move. But I have a high amount of positive thought that 55 to 57 is going to happen between this next dip and the beginning of the bull market, when we all know Bitcoin outpaces the rest of the market. We're going to see Bitcoin dominance move to the upside. The question is, do we get stopped out at 55%, 57%, or can we make that push up to 60%? I'm going to hold out for that stake bet with DZ, but that's what we're looking at. T-Shroom, what is the news looking like this afternoon? I know we covered some of it this morning, heavily talked about Bitcoin this morning, but what's happening this afternoon?
Well, the news is looking good, Tim. I'm going to show 2 charts, and then we'll get to our answer or factoid. First chart I want to show is Kaspa. Kaspa having a nice little correction here, down about 20% from its highs back in mid-September. So Kaspa back on sale. It has been able to stay up above this 3 cents that found some support at. Whether or not it comes back down to test that will be what folks are watching. It's got this nice, pretty consistent uptrending line of support here as well. That'll be more than likely tested. It's almost there. So how much longer Kaspa's on sale, I'm not exactly sure. Am I going to be scooping some up? Well, let's just say the factoid elf has been whispering in my ear to maybe pick up a little more Kaspa. Let's just say that. The other chart I want to show you guys is oil. Oil coming in. It's got this uptrending channel that it's been kind of trading in since back here in June, and now as it's coming back, it may get rejected back here around 33. So wait, this is an ETF, Bloomberg Oil, yeah. So it's still applicable, but this is not the spot price of oil. This is just an ETF. So just know that. Let's actually check it out and see how. Yeah, so you can see something similar here on the spot. Just want to make that distinction, but it's much more magnified or obvious on the ETF there. So that ETF UCO. All right, well, those were the charts I wanted to bring to you guys' attention as oil, kind of butts up against this line of resistance here that it's had. All right, Tim. Yeah. You guessed correct yet again. I've got to start making these a little harder. It was Joseph Biden. I've got him pulled up here. Listen, the official Wikipedia page. You can see. Look. All going all the way back to George Washington, you can see Protestant, non-Trinitarian. There's very few non-Protestants, and the ones that are not Protestant are pretty much Protestant. But yeah, that's more of a theological thing that we don't need to get into. Although Tim, I'm sure you're fully capable of wading into those waters.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is where you need to get out of my strong suits, even though I can't read. Which I'm very aware of. I just have memorized some words and how they look, and then I can string them together. I was homeschooled in a Christian homeschool family. Most people are homeschooled in homeschool families, but I was also Christian. So when you try to throw Christianity or religious type thoughts, we did a lot of studying of that. Also, I don't know if you know this because you weren't homeschooled, T-Shirt. Don't try to challenge homeschoolers on history. We might be weak at reading, but we know our history.
That's true.
We have done a lot of studying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not from books, but movies and stuff. So.
Just audiobooks. Well, there's been a lot of Protestants. Although would you consider Quaker? Because Nixon was a Quaker. Would you consider that to be Protestant? You would?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
There's some interesting things with Quaker.
What about Anglican?
But Anglican is a lot more. I would still say they're Protestant, but a lot of Anglican that is more showmanship. Because there's still they have very firm beliefs on how like they need to present themselves and do things, but they still believe in the call of like making disciples and going out and preaching the gospel. So pretty much if a Christian faith believes in, because I would even say, I'm trying to think of how to put this. Pretty much if there's a strong command for you to go out and proselytize, I guess is where the Protestant comes from, then you're a Protestant.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I knew that you would have a very fulfilling answer for that. Yeah. JFK, Catholic, of the Latinx derivative, and also Joseph Biden, Catholic, Latinx. Yeah. So you gotta love it. Just thought I'd bring you guys attention, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe tomorrow's will be maybe tomorrow's. I don't know what tomorrow's is because I'm not the factoid elf. So
exactly, you almost made it sound like you talked to him outside of the show, and that would be cheating. So let's see here. We got some good questions coming in. IMJ said, investing bros, assume I don't care about spreading out the money. So I think he's saying we only can choose one coin to throw this money into. Where would you throw $7,500 right now? Would it be into ADA, XLM, Casper? Oh, that's not Casper because KAS is Casper. Is that?
No, Casper is different from Caspa. Casper has the hard
Casper and Caspa. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay. T-shirt, what do you think?
I would go into ADA and Caspa.
Nope.
Caspa.
Again, I know we can't read.
Well, he said
you can't spread it around.
He doesn't care.
I'm making the rules that you only can choose one T-shirt. I said that clearly.
Well, it depends. If you want a more conservative play, I would go ADA or XLM. If you wanted like potentially 20 or 50x, Caspa. And these are according to my own research and also the research of Crypto Seth, Crypto Archie. I don't know how bullish they are in XLM, but I think that they're pretty bullish on ADA, but just not to the same degree, anywhere near the same degree as Caspa. And when it comes to Casper, the research that I've done, we have some members of our community, Crypto Trades. He likes Casper, but I just don't see a big future for him, unfortunately.
The question I would ask before answering this is how risky is the person doing this? Also, for me personally, I think I've told you guys, I'm probably not going to add any more ADA. I know I've talked about 18 cents being a good split. When we get down to those levels, there's other coins that I want to add and start spreading around, and maybe I'll sell something and then buy more Cardano ADA. But I'm pretty comfortable in my percentages. Like I probably actually have a little too much ADA, so I don't know if I want to purchase more. But if I didn't have Cardano, I think I would say Cardano, IMJ, and here's the reason why. I think Caspa has the higher ceiling for returns, but there's no security in it. Like, remember I said earlier, when you're looking at the larger caps, you're talking about, again, sure things is the wrong term, but like there's more safety and there's consistency. And I told you, I think Cardano is one of the higher returned sure thing types of coins. XLM is also interesting. XLM, of course, is a competitor to XRP. We're not going to see it we're not going to see it outdo the market cap of XRP. But there is heavy speculation. I don't know if I've joined the boat on this one yet, but I know like Piper, for example, he thinks that you'll see better returns in XLM than you will XRP. My concern with it, though, is how much of a dominance in that space does XRP take? Is this the bull market of institutions, in which case maybe institutions are leaning a little more towards XRP? So to me, if you're risky right now, like if we're talking about adding into your bag, you have $7,500 and you want to be taking some risk, I think Caspa's easy answer. But if you're not a risky person and you're looking for a secure investment, I think I'm going to take ADA.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I said. I mean, Caspa's could have higher risk to return. and ADA, less risk,
Yeah.
less return. But $7,500, you should be diversifying. I don't know what percentage of your overall net worth that is, but that's a good chunk of change for most people. So I would say you want to diversify. There's not really an argument for going all in on one of these names. Yeah, I would diversify.
Yeah,
and if you don't have any Bitcoin exposure, then you need to get. One would want to get that before they went into any other crypto. If you're new to crypto, then you want to wait a little bit longer, watch some more shows, learn a little bit more before you start putting that kind of money into crypto. But if you have to spend it now, put it in Bitcoin and wait and learn.
He clarified. He said, "Investing Bros, I appreciate your experiences. Let me modify. 7,500 into 88 creates a 100,000 coin portfolio. XLM is opening position at 10 cents a coin right now. Casper is padding. Caspa is opening." Not sure what you're meaning by this, but right now I have a 130,000 cost basis portfolio. I'm a little lost in what you're trying to say there, IMJ, but yeah, I think our answers stand. Again, the number one answer would be to diversify, probably into all of those. But if you had to choose just one, depends on your risk tolerance. Depend on, again, if you're happy with your current portfolio and you want to take a more risky bet, Caspa is probably, of those four I saw, Caspa probably has the highest ceiling of potential. But I like what Joe Nichols says. Joe Nichols, and this is all based off who you are as a person. You could absolutely disagree with this. But I kind of sit in the same camp as Joe Nichols. I'll take the solid 20x on 7,500 over a potential 50x on Caspa. And by the way, Caspa is one of the coins that there's potential 50x. Heck, there's a potential 100x. You could make a lot of money off of a little on Caspa. The problem is it's not a sure thing. The problem is Caspa could be on a real tear right now while it's hot, and then during a bull market, funding comes in, VCs come in on a different project, and it's so explosive and so great that people start forgetting about Caspa, and all of a sudden it does nothing. So the chance that something comes in and rivals Caspa is a lot greater than something being able to seriously come in and rival what Cardano is doing, I guess is the best way to put that.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Let's keep going here. What's some other questions? That was a great question, by the way, IMJ. Loved it. Those are the questions that make great content.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Look,
you see it?
He's continuing to clarify, but everything we've said is still relevant to what you're asking. Like, you're using specific like risk language, and that's great. That's good. You understand risk quite a bit. But I would just say everything we've said is still accurate. And so very good. 75. Yeah. You're dealing with a 130K cost basis portfolio. It's a pretty good portfolio to be in crypto with, my man. You're gonna be well rewarded this bull market if you don't completely crap the bed, which I don't think you will.
Yeah. Cash Cat says, but a 20x on ADA is not a dunk either. I'm not going to disagree with you, Cash Cats. Again, I think I prefaced earlier on in this video, there's anyone who says sure things, 100%, this is an automatic when it comes to investing, that's just not true. New highs are not a sure thing. You know, even though I disagree with him, Crypto Savvy is pretty adamant that we will not see new highs on crypto projects that have been around since 2017. He thinks that this next bull market is going to flow like a 4-year cycle with new lows that are lower than 2019 and highs that are not even as high as 2021 highs. I don't think that's going to happen, but that is a possible. There's a non-zero chance of that happening, I guess is the best way to put it. There is a non-zero chance that we will not see new highs on Cardano. You're absolutely right. But to me, again, we're talking about a 10x. We going back to all-time high on Cardano is more than a 10x, okay? But realistically, when you're doing a lot of math of what they're building, what they're doing, and you're looking at dominance and how much money is going to probably flow into crypto, I think getting back to their dominance, same dominance level as 2021, around 3% of the whole space. If they can keep a 3% dominance of the entire crypto space like they did in 2021, that would put them up there at that $8, as we talked about, over $7, $8 area for Cardano in this next bull market. And that's kind of a safe one. That's a safe prediction. There's a lot of things that are going to develop. When the bull market happens, things are going to get out and spicy and communities are going to grow. And Cardano still has one of the largest, most integrated, knowledgeable, and emphatic communities that they're going to rally and recruit new people to come into that community as well. Now you pair a strong community with strong fundamentals that Cardano's been working on throughout the bear market. again, sure thing is the wrong phrase because there never should be something that you consider a sure thing. But safer is probably the right term here. A 20x to Cardano is a safer thought and investment than a 50x expectation of Caspo. And I'll leave it right there. Let's go ahead and look at some other questions here. Michael says ADA, HBAR, and Sol are my biggest layer one plays. Yeah, good. And HBAR. T-Shroom, I think you're going to talk a little more about this. I think this Saturday, last Saturday, I kind of gave you a preview as to what I want my portfolio to look like in this next bull market. This Saturday, T-Shroom is going to kind of give us a little bit of a tease into what he's thinking, but he's really big on HBAR. T-Shroom, do you want to talk a little bit about HBAR? What are you looking at with HBAR that makes you so bullish?
Oh, man. Well, I think actually, yeah. So with Hashgraph, it's so the name is Hedera. So they have this proprietary technology called the Hashgraph, which is different from blockchain. It's also different from some of the DAGs that you see as well. It's got its own, thus the proprietary aspect. But the other thing too is they're really, really good at communicating that innovation, right? And they've also partnered with like a limited amount. I think it's like 39, a limited amount of partners. Some of them being like big names like Google, Boeing, just like some names that are just like, what, like how? But they're capping it at like so it's like a very exclusive, and like once you're in, you're in. So it just seems like they really have executed really well. Whether or not they're going to get a bunch of adoption, I don't know. I mean, some of these companies are partnered with may not really need blockchain services. I can't imagine ones that wouldn't, but it's unclear exactly how much they're going to actually take off from a business standpoint. But they've positioned themselves really well, and they've communicated how they've positioned themselves, and from a marketing standpoint, which with crypto in the Wild West, in any kind of phase any kind of Wild West phase industry, marketing is so much of it, right?
Yeah.
Because who knows? Like, who knows if you're telling the truth? Who knows if what you have is gold or if it's fool's gold, right? You just have to trust what's going on in the marketing and diversify, right? And so HBAR has done a really good job of convincing a lot of money to come home to roost in its project. And I could talk more about it, but I mean, ultimately, it's a solid project. Why did that one come up specifically? Was somebody asking about it?
It was just someone was just saying that those are their layer ones, and I know that was something you talked about. You want to have, I think you were saying that's going to have a pretty hefty size in your portfolio. Like, I think I put it as like, I'm going to dedicate, I think I said about 1% towards HBAR, 1% of my portfolio. You were like, hey, I'm going to go a lot higher with it. That just to me speaks someone who just very, very bullish on it long term to them. Again, 100% is not the right term. It's about safe investment. I'm looking at HBAR TA here.
And HBAR is a good example of one that I'm intentionally not getting emotionally attached to. Like Bitcoin, look, I'm head over heels. I would be devastated if something happened to my precious Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
With HBAR, it's like this is not it's not quite a I'm looking to sell at the top of HBAR. I'm looking to sniff out the top, find it, sell it. It's not because I don't think that HBAR could be, the currency of the future, but it's like it's in a tier group with a bunch of other really good cryptos as well. So anyway.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So we got some news. Let's go ahead. You want to go ahead and get into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. So big one here. Actually, very, very big story. We had it dropped by Bedwritten in our Discord. Are Cardano and Ethereum in trouble after this Bitcoin update? Essentially, the crypto industry and community are abuzz, Tim. They're abuzz, in case you didn't know.
That's great.
With the latest Bitcoin update, BitVM, this computing paradigm designed to express Turing-complete Bitcoin contracts, has the potential to revolutionize the Bitcoin network. This mechanism allows any computable function to be verified on Bitcoin, paving the way for smart contracts on the Bitcoin network. And there is a white paper you can read all about this, and we can post this in the chat here and in the Discord, which if you don't know, you can go to our link in the Discord right here on YouTube, click on the free Investing Bros Discord, and you can come into our community and share inspiring things like this, or you can find them. And one of those things is the white paper here for the BitVM, which is a proposal. I believe it's not been implemented yet. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong about that, but it's at this point just a proposal. So Tim, do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, could this be the end of Cardano and Ethereum?
No, it's not. And one of the reasons why is because They're going to try to do this, and I'm not saying nothing will be utilized, but they're not. Bitcoin's not going to be able to compete with the speed and the transaction volume of the likes of Ethereum and Cardano and Solana and others. And honestly, they don't need to. Like, I understand it was a different thought when they started putting NFTs on it. It actually helped the miners a lot because it gave up a lot more fees, and so miners were profitable even though price wasn't going to the upside. But guys, the purpose of Bitcoin is not to be utilized for smart contracts and for speed of transactions. Like I've told you guys before, while I used to kind of dabble with the concept that Joe Rogan's now wrestling with, of course, it's the big news recently. He's saying, could Bitcoin become the world currency that solves the monetary issues of fiat? It's an interesting thing that I think every person comes into a question with when they get into Bitcoin. And that's kind of the early thought, but the more mature you get in the crypto space, Bitcoin's not currency. It's store of value, which is more important because the minute something becomes currency, T-Shroom, it needs stabilization. So like right now, if we started using Bitcoin as currency, it would really mess us up for the price of Bitcoin to go to the upside. And of course, Bitcoin needs to go to the upside because the supply is so limited. If it stayed this low, it's going to be terrible long term. But I don't want to live in a state where my milk, I used this example before, I don't want to live in a state where my milk is $5 one day and then $10 and then $15 and then $3 and that is not consistency. It doesn't build any type of stability in an economy whatsoever. You need a currency that's steady, level, sturdy. You know from day to day where the value is going to be. Bitcoin's not the answer for that. So Bitcoin continue to be a store of value. Let the cryptos perform the things like smart contracts. Let something else, stable coin, maybe some other coin that wants to be more stable and has a decentralized faction that every time the demand gets a little higher, supply goes up to keep it at one price, to keep a steady level of value. That's the solution for long-term currency. Decentralized currency is that, but not Bitcoin. That's store of value. I want to put my wealth into Bitcoin, and that price just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And I leave that to my children and my children's children. I do not want to do that. I don't want Bitcoin to stay steady and level and be my currency from a day-to-day process. It's not fast enough. It's just, here's the best way to put it. I'm gonna wrap it up. Bitcoin's better than currency. It has so much more to offer the world than being the day-to-day currency. Let that be something else.
Bitcoin's the best at being Bitcoin. What you're saying. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I don't completely disagree. There's a couple things in there maybe that I would say a little differently, but that's a good take, Tim. As usual for someone who doesn't know how to read. All right, billionaire Paul Tudor Jones backs Bitcoin and gold as geopolitical risks rise. If you don't know, that is Paul Tudor Jones. Yeah, there he is. This might be the most threatening geopolitical environment I've ever seen, says Jones. And on CNBC's Squawk Box. He also took note of the U.S. fiscal position, calling it the weakest since at least World War II. So quite a conundrum we find ourselves in here geopolitically, wouldn't you say, Tim? As interest costs go up in the United States, says Jones, you get this vicious circle where higher interest rates cause higher funding costs, causing higher debt issuance, which causes further bond liquidation, which causes higher rates. That's the circle. Starting here, ending here, which put us in an untenable fiscal position. Yes, I can't love stocks, he said, but I love Bitcoin and gold. It makes me think of that one Mexican billionaire who, in that interview, he was like, I hold Bitcoin and gold when he was asked about that. All these billionaires seem to just be like, I know that this term doesn't mean that, but it's like the golden parachute. That it has a different meaning, but it's almost like that. It's like they see the writing on the walls. Like, okay, the American government has been walking a tightrope with the economy, trying to keep inflation down. Okay, inflation seems to be coming down, right? But they're up against a wall, and now the bond rates are crazy high. And it's like, okay, well, what tools do they have? It's like all this and this. It's like they're barely rocking this tightrope. It's worse in other countries, and now there's this war breaking out, and the United States there's a good chance the United States is going to have to come in and intervene. It gets into the controversy of it all, but could, and that's not free. It's not free to send soldiers and equipment and resources thousands of miles across oceans to go intervene. Right? Where's that money going to come from? They can increase taxes. Well, then the Democrats aren't going to win. Are they going to print money? Well, inflation's going to go up. So it's going to be one of the two. Or they're just going to say, no, we're going to send the troops, we're not going to pay them. And then they're not going to go. So it's untenable, right? Paul Tudor Jones has got the right take here on that. Tim, what do you think? Do you think we're going to be okay?
Yeah, I think we will.
You think we'll be all right?
I think so. I think that there's a lot kind of going on, and there's a. The truth is, I don't think that YouTube Live is from where I flesh out my full thoughts, and that seems like more of a bro time type of opinion for me to kind of.
How convenient.
Because we're having one after the stream. But my short answer is I think that things will be okay. That doesn't mean things will be pretty, and that doesn't mean things will go the way exactly everyone likes it to go. But I wanted to get back in because we only have a couple minutes left here. We got 9 minutes left, T-Stream, and then we're going to wrap this out. And as I kind of just teased, we talked about it earlier. All of our silver members, we're going to be going live right after this stream at 4 o'clock to do our membership, our silver members only bro time. And then Thursdays, of course, for our gold members. I want to take a look at it. There's a question asked in chat about DOT. Someone said, what is our thoughts about DOT? Here's what I'll say. I do think DOT can move up and to the right. I'm concerned about DOT for a couple reasons. Now, there's lots of rumors and things out there about Gavin Wood. Gavin Wood, of course, one of the founders. He was CEO. He stepped down in the fall of 2022 under mysterious things. A lot of people step down from a lot of different things for lots of reasons. There's heavy speculation. There's some illicit activity happening with Gavin Wood, but that's not even the most concerning detail to me. The other detail was that DOT, after being one of the projects with the most development in the crypto world, it stopped. It actually slowed down immensely. So someone put in chat, I think IMJ said it's struggling to create solid relationships and partnerships. Yeah, well, so is Cardano, and yet I still think Cardano's going to do some great things. I think DOT's still capable of some high-level movements, but I just think there's a lot of clouds hanging over DOT that could suppress it from hitting new all-time highs or being one of the top movers. Like right now, it's still a top 10 coin that I think might be one of the ones that I would put in the category of falling out of it. But let's look at the chart real quick. Let's take a look at what's happening here. Another thing I don't really like, I don't like that we're seeing price levels, and here on the daily chart, we're heading down and we're not even oversold. I think DOT's chart not looking good from a shorter time frame. We're, of course, hitting new lows here for the bear market, and we still have room to fall. But look, this is the bottom of the bear market back here because the coin was created here in 2020, so it didn't get a full bear market like what we saw with Bitcoin and Ethereum and others throughout 2018 and 2019. But when it had its initial launch, it shot up here above $6, and then it fell back to where, well, the levels were currently kind of hovering around. It fell all the way to 360, but had a lot of bounces right around 380, 370, that mark. Well, you zoom forward, this is where we're currently sitting. And even more so, let me go. So this is a chart that goes further back. Let me take a look at the chart that I have here, which is the Binance chart. We also just broke below a flat level of support and retested as resistance. Guys, this is what we would call a falling or descending triangle. These are bearish, and we lost the support line. I'm not saying we're going to do what this breakout pattern is saying we're going to do. I'm not, usually you take the opening of this, you move it to the breakout spot, and this would tell us that price of DOT would be going all the way down to 61 cents. Not saying that's going to happen, and I'm not saying that DOT's going to die. What I am saying, though, is that I think that lows are going to continue to come here with DOT. I think that their lack of development, again, IMJ, I agree with you that it's a concern that they're not. This is the type of project that does need relationships, but that's not even the biggest problem to me, because you can always develop new relationships in the bull market as more institutions and more companies get involved. They see what you do as a crypto. They'll be like, all right, let's partner with this one. It's the fact that they're not developing as strongly as some of these other projects. To me, that's one of my biggest concerns here. So I don't even know if I'll give a full-out prediction on where I think price could go. I think that we absolutely, when I meant where it could go to the upside, I think we absolutely could definitely come down at least back down to about 361, but I think maybe even lower. I wouldn't be surprised to see us get below $3 here on DOT, honestly. What would that amount of a fall be if we were to see that happen? To get to $3, below $3, we only need a 20% drop. I think that's very doable. I think that absolutely could happen on DOT. Now, that makes it a better buy for the long-term bull market. I do think it's one that will move to the upside, but I don't think we're going to see new highs. I don't think we're going to get back above the high of $56 that we had back here in November of 2021. I think if we got back up to this high, $24, the one that we set here in April of 2022, that'd be pretty good. Let's just pretend we do see maybe a $3. Let's go to log chart here so it gets a little more skinny for me. Let's say we did see a $3 dot. Let's go right here. I'm going to go 303, but I didn't grab my tool. 303, 301. All right, that's closer. That would still be a good 6-7x. If we did that to a new all-time high, we're looking at about a 17x. I don't see that happening. Again, I'm just not bullish on DOT because of a lot of different things going on with the project. I think others are going to kind of compete with it, kind of take away its stuff. But let's see here. DOT 2.0 will be coming in the bull market. If there's something that they're developing, Ninja Glock, that I'm aware of, I'm glad to learn. What I do know is that it's been struggling. And you're right that it's bigger than Gavin Wood, but Gavin Wood was one of the founders and kind of the face of it for such a long time. And there's a lot of stuff that's not necessarily looking great for it. Don't look at weekly DOT over Bitcoin. Don't look at weekly DOT over Bitcoin if you want to hold hope. Well, you say that. Now we have to look at DOT over BTC, and we have to look on the weekly. Oh, that's ugly. Oh, that's ugly. It's no bueno. And I told you guys, and we're not even sitting in a spot where we're flashing oversold. The money flow is just so far off. It just continues to come down here into the negatives. Sorry. I mean, Ninja Glock, help me. I mean, I'd be very happy to update and learn more about DOT and why you think you could have a good. Put in chat, Ninja Glock. Where do you think DOT's going to get to in the bull market? But DOT over Bitcoin, not looking good. DOT over USD, not looking good. There's a lot of reasons that I'm kind of like. I don't know if you guys noticed, it wasn't in my portfolio. At this point, unless something major changes, it's not going to make it into my portfolio. But that doesn't mean I think it's going to zero. That doesn't mean I don't think there's going to be any money to make on it. Again, I think somewhere around that 7 to 10x. By the way, that could be a bigger gain than Bitcoin. So theoretically speaking, if we made that $24, that might be better for your portfolio than if you held Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's more secure, of course, but that's my opinion. That's what I'm looking at right now. Would love to change my mind. Let's see. One last question. We're going to wrap up today's stream, jump into our bro time. So anyone who's a member, or if you want to join right now and get into there, you're more than welcome to do that. Crypto Dave said that's not a loss, bro. That's a death. Sorry, man. Again, I don't think it's dying. I don't think that we're going to see DOT die. I just think that we're not going to see it have the greatest bull market. It was doing a lot of great things in 2021. I think, again, can they rebuild the team? Can they make those partnerships? They absolutely can. They absolutely can. So if new things develop, then we can change that opinion.
Yeah. There is one more thing that I wanted to highlight. We mentioned it on our morning show, but $4.5 trillion asset manager Fidelity says Bitcoin is the most secure, decentralized, and sound money compared to any other digital asset. So it's just, I mean, obviously bullish, but just continuing to see TradFi, coming out and say positive things about Bitcoin. Always encouraging, but this is also a pretty significant move just from Fidelity in general, which is why it was on our thumbnail this morning for the morning news.
Yeah. Gia S just said, while you're watching, smack that like button. That's an easy thing. We got 75 people in here. How many likes are we at? What are we at right now? 40 likes. Oh yeah, guys, we could get up to above 60 likes easily. I think a lot of you guys are watching and you just forgot, and that's okay.
Rookie numbers.
Nobody's mad. In fact, again, a lot of us can't read. So sure. That's why you needed us to say it. And I'm in the same boat as you guys. Can't read whatsoever over here. Smack that like button on the way out. As we're wrapping the stream up, again, we're jumping into bro time, so the chat continues. But I wanted to show you guys a funny photo of you guys. This is what's going on over on our Discord right now. You guys, that's Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall is a beast of a man. And I'm very proud that the community thinks I look like him. I wish I had the same size arms. Honestly, back in college, I might have been not his strong. This dude is strong as a freaking ox. But my point here, I'm bringing this up here and saying, hey guys, like, go get active. Sometimes we get like more touching, more feeling. we're gonna get a little more like.
Is that your point here?
Like active. My point here is go get active. Here's the thing: a lot of people want to come in and make money and do a lot of things, but your body, your health is very important. Go take care of yourself. Go out for a run. Go lift some weights. Go get in a boxing ring. Do something active and better. Teach them just like a golden roast moment at the end of the screen.
Super important. A lot of guys were saying that I kind of look like Brad Pitt in the Discord. I just want to say, stay hydrated. Brad Pitt really prioritizes hydration, and you should too. I want my bros hydrated. So,
I got you, T-Shroom. I got your lookalike.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Uh-oh, who's that? No.
Hey, look, Gary Gensler, for all the things, Gary Gensler looks like he's in great shape.
It's true.
Looks like he takes care of himself.
He does. Stays hydrated, which is important.
Stays hydrated. I don't think he lifts, but maybe he runs. At the end of the day, guys, go take care of yourself. Take a break away from crypto YouTube from time to time. Touch some grass, exercise, go spend some time with loved ones. Don't make yourself just financially better. Make yourself as a whole person better. And throw some hearts up for T-Shroom.
That's right.
While you're at it. Guys, that's all we got for you in this video. We will see those of you in bro time, like B Team Crypto just joined as a silver member. We will see you here in just a second. The rest of you will see you tomorrow morning for our news update, and then tomorrow afternoon once again for our live show. With that said, you guys have a fantastic day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.